Hey, good evening, everyone. It's 8:30. We've gone back to 8:30 today. We're doing a preview show for Man United versus Bournemouth. Yeah, hi guys. Welcome to Man United Agenda. Yes, it's Friday. It's Mr. B's favourite day, isn't it? Right, Mr. B. You've had a hard week of work, and now it's about putting your feet up, getting your team prepared for tomorrow, and hopefully Man United win as well.
Yeah, it's been a very heavy week, and I don't have a game tomorrow. The
Oh, you got
opposition, yeah, the
why not?
opposition already pulled out.
They've
So
heard about your reputation, eh?
yeah, I don't know what they've heard, boy, but it feel like we haven't kicked a ball in a little while. So yeah, I don't like when games get called off, and
Mm,
we've had a few. I think it's 3 weeks without a game for us at the moment. So
yeah.
yeah, I think we've got one more penciled in next week before the Christmas break. So I'm hoping that we do actually get that in. Otherwise, after the Christmas break, it's like that's like the first game after pre-season. Well, even after pre-season, the pre-season's going to be taking Brussels sprouts. So yeah, they need to play. They need to play.
Do
But
you,
I'm,
do you
I'm
bring
looking.
do you bring the scales in after Christmas? The way
You
players.
can the way that my shirts are tight, you can tell. You,
Yeah.
you can you you can tell straight away when there's big nipples this side, big belly buttons down at the bottom. Oh no, man! Yeah, I'm dreading. That's the part that I hate. And you're picking your team, hoping that everybody comes back, and
Yeah.
everybody's off it, man. Everybody's off it. So
It's
I'm
typical, isn't it? Typical of an English Saturday game that we're gonna get games called off over Christmas, and it stalls your momentum, doesn't it? I mean, you want to be playing week in week out, but some of these pitches are really not fit enough, and it's no surprise that the games are called off.
and the season's going to be long. I just think it's going to be one of come January, come February, March.
Yeah,
There's always games called off. So maybe I might have a season that goes well into April this year, which it makes a change. You don't really want to be finishing at the end of March, knowing that your awards night is 3 months away. You know what I mean?
double headers and all that.
Yeah, yeah,
We want to say hi to Big T, saying big up to everyone. Smash the like, thank you. I'm positive about this one. Matt Terminator will do us good. Obviously, he's talking about McTominay, who seems to have turned people's heads lately. Big up to DK Wilson, all the way from Texas. He said, "Good evening, gents." Obviously, it's probably afternoon where you are, but thank you for being considerate to English times over here as well. Obviously, we're doing a preview show today. It's been a great week, though, hasn't it? I mean, just reflecting back, you've got, don't forget, guys, 10 p.m. tonight, we've got the Takeaway Show hosted by Mr. B, and he's got the Chelsea fan on, the same guy who was brave enough to sit with you during the watch along the other day.
yeah. And I know I wasn't too harsh on Billy. I think it was the shock of the night, but I'm really ready for him now. So look, he might not ever come on again after this one, but I'm going to enjoy the hour and 10 minutes that I'm going to be with him this evening. To be fair.
And what's on the agenda tonight? What have you got? Is it going to be all the Premiership games and all the
Yeah,
clubs?
all the Premier League football. I mean, the couple of topics that we will dig on today is obviously Ange Ball exposed.
Oh, good
We
one. Good one.
yeah
That's a good one. Yeah.
we caught them fresh. We caught them excited, and we weren't ready to go. We didn't know, but you can see that. Look, I'll save that for the show, and
Okay.
we're just going to be talking about the top four. Whether with what's happened so far this season, people's choices have changed, or
Yeah.
whether they'll keep it the same. We'll do our normal prediction, and we'll discuss our fantasy league table. So yeah,
I'll be
a full Friday show.
I'd be interested to hear your take on because Arsenal traveling to Villa this weekend, aren't they? So I'd be interested to see what you boys will talk about with that one there. It's going to be an interesting game and hopefully a good result, um, maybe for Villa. Big up to Matthew Bassett as well. Big up to We Deserve Better. Said, seeing as McTominay started off as a centre forward and we spent the best part of a decade coveting him to midfield, should we utilise him as a centre forward to the end of the season? Do you want to quickly tackle that one?
Yeah, he's actually supposed to be a midfielder. So yeah, if you're going to be talking about him, I yeah, look, he'll play where he sees fit. I don't know what position he plays in, and if I don't know, and I study him quite a bit, then the opposition definitely aren't going to know. So he's turning up at the right time. in the right positions. I just wish that defensively we had more control. That's all. That's all. I'm banging my head against a brick wall with this one.
Just want to say, I mean, look, we are full of awards this week. Goal of the month, guess who? Garnacho. Player of the month, guess who? Say it.
Yeah.
Say it, Mr. B. Go on. You can do it.
Well done on one day. Harry Maguire got.
Thank you. And manager of the month as well. Obviously, that goes to Ten Hag as well. So we've won 3 games. Obviously, we had, I think, beat Fulham, beat Crystal Palace, not the toughest teams, and someone else as well during that month. So we're decorated with loads of awards this month. Hopefully, it's not curse that manager of the month award. It usually happens. Anyway, Mr. B, tackle this because Ten Hag today in the press conference was asked about Shaw. He said, start with the last. I think a lot. He is a player others can build on. He gives belief and confidence to the other players, teammates around him feel comfortable. He will deal with different situations. He will set up, take the initiative, create and strengthen absolutely the team. His presence, his personality, but the skill set with his physicality, so strong, technically very good. He is a high-profile player, and we are happy he is back on. That's all about Luke Shaw. Very positive, don't you think?
Yeah, he really loves Luke Shaw. I mean, he's made a difference. You can tell he's made a difference since he's come back into the team. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, look, Ten Hag said it's belief, it's his attitude, blah blah blah. Whatever it is, I want it to rub off on the rest of these players because it can't be one player who plays at left back who suddenly gives the team that sort of impetus. Yeah, we were saying that we Rashford missed him, but the team obviously missed him a lot more than Rashford because Garnacho's now taken Rashford's place. To be fair on that side, and
yeah, that's true.
That it seemed to slip in effortlessly there. So we'll see.
Big up to Matthew Bassett. He's just dropped £5. That £5 usually goes to his kebab money on a Friday night, but it's coming to us. Matthew Bassett, thank you so much. And I don't know if your games are called off this weekend, but give us an update. I mean, Matthew, keep asking you. Give us an update on your results on the weekend as well. And big up to Anthony Herbert. I think you'll be joining Mr. B later on. He said, big up, you good-looking people. And when I say good-looking, I mean Omondi. Big up to you. He's always starting sugar. And we deserve better saying here, if Maguire's player of the month, the Premier's in trouble, let alone United. So obviously, I'm not impressed by that. Talking about McTominay, because we were asked in the comments here, especially from We Deserve Better, and the manager was asked about McTominay again, and he said, actually, from the first moment I saw, he has a very good smell to make it in the box, and he is a very good finisher. So that's great. This is from the manager alone, because you asked him about whether McTominay should play as a striker. So from the first moment the manager saw him, he thought he was a great finisher. That is no surprise when the team. No, that is not a surprise when we bring it and the way we want to play and get the balls to them, he will finish. So basically, he finishes his dinner. He's very impressed with his finishing because obviously he scored 2 goals. He's got 5 now in total, I think, which is like up there with the top players in our club at the moment. Because obviously our forward line don't seem to be scoring much. Rasmus hasn't scored for love or money, and he seemed to be taking away Rasmus's goals with that header the other day. Mr. B, your thoughts? I know because you've been a harsh critic of McTominay, and you've justified why, your reasoning why. I mean, we think we deserve better as a player all round, but you have to give the guy credit. I mean, he does what he does do well. He does pretty good.
Monday, I'm not going to fault what he does when he scores a goal. My issue is if he doesn't score a goal in the game, what does he do? I know that sounds really stupid, but his role is supposed to be central midfield. So if he's not scoring, do you see him doing the ugly side of the game? No, you don't. You don't see him really trying to control the game. So I just think his game's limited. We are getting 150% the max out of his playing. No problem. He's playing how a Manchester United player is supposed to be playing. But if I could honestly replace him with somebody else who had his running, But obviously, technically, then yeah, no problem. You know what? Look, it's horses for courses. As I said, I don't think I'm. He's ever going to be one of my favorite players. Maguire. Um, I'm not going to knock. I want Rashford to have his, what's the word? Resilience. That's probably the word that I look for. I think Ten Hag might have mentioned something about that in the press conference as
Yeah, he
well.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that right here.
Mm.
Nice plug to bring this in. So Ten Hag, when you talk about Rashford, obviously, I mean, just build it up for us, Mr. B, about Rashford. He had a lot of goals last season, signed a new contract. What do you think this season? I mean, it's been going all wrong for him, it seems, hasn't it?
One day, I don't know. I came into the season, first game, second game, third game, fourth game, fifth game. You're defending, but it gets to the stage now. You see, it's obviously he's playing like he has no interest. Whether or not that is it, that's fine. But people talk about body language. Yeah, he walks around, but you can tell when somebody's happy, somebody's pleased to be doing their job,
Yeah,
regardless. He walks around like we owe him something. No, you're getting paid 375, bruh. We don't owe you nothing. You owe us. And that's where I think there's an issue. You know what I
right.
mean? Yeah, he's homegrown, he's a Manchester boy, and maybe he's getting more stick because he's a Manchester lad. But at the same time, he should know then. Scott McTominay, he's come through the same academy that you have. But there's a different level of attitude. Forget about playing ability, it's attitude.
Yeah, yeah.
And if that doesn't fix up, then maybe he will have to say au revoir and go play in Paris.
All right, so let's read this comment from the manager regarding Rashford, which is probably the most anticipated talking point from the press conference today. So, with everything that's going on with Rashford at the moment, I think this is really interesting. The response by the manager. He says, "So Rashford is an incredible good player. So incredible good. He's gone from incredible to good player, all in one word, one sentence. You can't do it with 11 players. He can't play every game. He's not in this moment in the form he was in last year, but I'm sure he will get there. What I said about Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, up to them. The team will always line themselves up, and the best players who form the best team will play. So basically, he's not going to play every game. He's an incredible player. He's saying here the team will always pick itself based on form, and the best team will play. Is there any indication about whether Rashford might start, or does that mean that Garnacho's ahead of him now, as you were stating earlier? Is Rashford a squad player now?
Yeah, he is. He's a squad player. He's not a starter. What Ten Hag did, he laid down the law to Garnacho at the end of the season and said, "Yes, you've had your super sub moments. Become a starter. Give me the headache to make you become a starter." Now he's come in. His performances have proved. He had the first couple of dodgy games, first two games of the season, was out of the squad. He
Yeah,
wasn't playing for ages. You know, Rashford took his chance as he should, being the senior player, and he's done nothing. So it's opened up the door for Garnacho, and he's taken it with both hands, to be fair.
yeah.
So the headache now isn't Ten Hag's. The headache now isn't Garnacho's. The headache now is Rashford's.
Good point. DK Wilson makes a good point here, because I remember a couple of seasons ago, your favourite quote was Rashford. He's got a bad. He's broke his back. How do you expect the man? You're playing a man injured and all that kind of thing. And we really depended on him. If you remember that spell when we had. So DK Wilson saying here, I don't get Marcus. 2 years ago, he's playing with serious injuries, and he went and trained at Nike. Then 2022 had the best year. Spends off the off season dealing with a contract. Now he's off form again. So a lot of inconsistencies here. And Big T is saying here, I agree, Emma, just putting out ideas. I prefer him to play as number 10, no further back than an 8. They're talking about McTominay again, because whether he should be a striker. The thing with Rashford, now, I'm just going to touch on this again, because I saw a thing the other day, just what DK Wilson said. I'll just prop this up again. It's about inconsistency. We want to see a player at 26 now where we know he's going to be consistently getting double figures goals, double figures assists. This is what we feel with his skill set, what he's capable of. But obviously, there's been accusations about his attitude recently. and saying here he goes away at Nike, has the best year, spends the off season dealing with the contract, and then a bad year. And I've heard allegations about his girlfriend, his love affairs, and that could be affecting his play as well. So it's I want to see the best of Rashford, and we here on this channel. I don't think we murder players so much. We give them an opportunity, and Rashford would like him because of his homegrown. He's a homegrown player. He's come through the ranks, but there's something not right. I mean, he needs to perform a lot better, and I think we've gone round the houses with this whole issue with Rashford as well recently. But I think it's a case of he's really going to have to think about his future with the changes that are coming on at the club. And I think with we want to be positive going forward. I think he's kind of rested on his laurels, thinking, as he said here a couple of years ago, he was our best player, and we were kind of dependent on him and played him through injuries. So maybe he feels like we owe him one, and he's a luxury player because of all the playing through an injury. Now, I saw Ian Wright was talking the other day. You're a big fan of Ian Wright, Mr. Bean. He was saying that during the 1993 season, when they were in the FA Cup final against Sheffield Wednesday, he had a bad ankle injury, and they were asking if they could give him an injection to see him through. But they said the thing is, if you take the injection, you could have problems in the future. Now he's got a fused ankle, and he regrets it. He thinks he should have just rested it and taken treatment. So do you think there's, with Rashford here, playing through with a bad back and with all those injuries, do you think he feels a bit like vexed with the club, and that we owe him something for all those times that he was playing when he shouldn't have been, when he should have been resting?
Well, what he should have said if he wasn't fit to play was he's not fit to play. Don't play through the injury like you did and then moan about it a year and a half later when your form is shit. And that could be, that's where it's going, really. Because right now he's going to be trying to find an excuse why his form has dropped off a cliff. It's not that he hasn't had the chances, because he's had, up until he was playing, up until Garnacho sort of ousted him as first choice, he had the most shots in the Premier League, or second most shots in the Premier League. So it's not that he can't shoot. It's not that he's not getting the opportunities. It might be where he's shooting from, to be fair. Some of the angles he's winding up, come on, man, have a little bit of sense. You're 26 years old now. You know what I mean? So I just feel I'm worried for him, because if the penny doesn't drop, I understand United need a poster boy, a face for the club. But if that face ain't scoring goals or ain't doing his job, I'm sure he will be out there very, very quickly.
Just want to shout out to the comments as well. They're still talking about McTominay. This is the biggest. I thought Rashford would be the talking point, and it's only Hydro wants to talk about Rashford. He said he owes all he's got to United, and he should be playing like it. So he owes us as a club. And also Emma's talking about Rashford now. Thank you, guys. Let's bring in the Rashford comments. Rashford just needs to focus on his football and listen to the manager and coaches. That's a good comment as well. And welcome back, Emma. I haven't seen you for a while. How do you feel about England drawing Denmark in the draw for the European Championships coming up very soon? This is on selections, Ten Hag, Mr. B. As a manager, my coaches, with the rest of my staff, we always consider, but the next game is always the most important, especially in the Premier League, where everyone is killing everyone. As you can see, like with these results have been crazy lately. You need a strong team. So when we come to the solo 11, obviously he discussed it with his coaches, and he saying the Premier League is different. Do you think he acknowledges now that the Premier League is like the elite?
Yeah. It's a different beast. I think Ajax, they had their games where they could probably switch off, and the games where they raised it. But the Premier League, man, if you look at Luton. Man's been laughing at Luton. Oh, Luton are going to do this. Yeah. Luton at home are no joke. Whether it's this small changing room, whatever it is, they're not messing around. They're making their home advantage count at the moment. So, yeah, you can't switch off any game in the Prem. I used to laugh, oh, there's no easy games. And you're thinking, yes, they are. But then when you're getting clapped by the team at the bottom of the league and second bottom, there are no easy games in the Premier League.
So Big T saying here, question for the panel: does a fully banging Rashford bench the current form of Garnacho?
He won't get there. He has to take. It's crazy, because if we go out of Europe, then there's less games for him to be able to prove himself, And guess what? It's these players that got us into this position in Europe. How much shots didn't he? How much time should he have squared the ball to whoever? You know, people are going to look at Onana and say, yes, it was Onana. But you've still got to look at the chances that these players could have created and didn't create because they wanted to be selfish. So if we go out on Tuesday, there's going to be a lot of ex-players. There's going to be a lot of ex-players because their game time is going to become like this.
I would say a fully firing Rashford would maybe get over on Garnacho, even though he's firing at the moment. But it's going to take a lot to sort of drop Garnacho at the moment. I think, remember, he played the first 2 games of the season, then he was dropped because he wasn't really doing the business. Since the overhead, he played a really good game against Reece James, who's a top player the other day. There's a few highlights going around social media where he turned him and left him on his ass, that kind of thing. So I think Garnacho deserves this place, and you can't drop him right now. He's on fire. A couple more here. Euro draw was ages ago. I'm only saying that because I haven't seen Emma for a while since that draw's been made. So big up Emma. Obviously Danish. 100% says hi, Joe, to Emma, because Emma's said this. You can read it if you want, guys. Was Luckhurst available after suspension today? I'm not sure, you know.
He was back. I think they were back. Yeah, they were back. They were all back.
On his best behaviour, I hope. Big G saying, big up to Monday, Mr. B, good evening. And big up to you, Mr. Big G. Hope you're doing well. And don't forget, 10 o'clock tonight, we're doing a takeaway. Yes, but we need to play Alexandro. He'll get better and better. So there you go. Bilal's a true backer of this guy. Last point now. We're talking about Bournemouth. We don't know much about them. I will say this. They drew with Aston Villa recently, and they beat Crystal Palace away. So Ten Hag was asked about Bournemouth. And obviously, it's a tough one, isn't it, for us, Mr. B, because we don't really know much about them. They're sort of down there. I think they've got 16 points. I think they have a very good form, which you just suggested. Bournemouth, we have seen them. It's a very good side, very good constructed, capable players. Again, you have to play your best. Everyone is killing everyone. You have to be 100% ready as a team for that game. That's our job to do, to get there, to get to 100%, to deal with every team, because everyone is killing everyone. So we can't rest on our laurels. Their form, what do you think of Bournemouth? Because obviously Gary O'Neill's gone to Wolves. He's done a good job with them, kept them up last season. They look like they're pretty safe at the moment with the 3 teams below them, Sheffield United, Burnley, and Luton. They'd be pretty comfortable with that. But can you see anything special from Bournemouth? Is there any players or anyone that sort of stands out for you?
Solanke?
What do you call me? Yes. I know I'm tall, but come on.
Solanke. I think he'd probably be the one to watch out of all of the players. Obviously, he left from Liverpool, and I know he was good in what was the tournament that the youngsters won a few years ago? Yeah, I think it might be one of the under-21 tournaments that he starred in. It's interesting because Bournemouth's points they've picked up, the points they've picked up have been in their last 4 or 5 games. So it could be that they've just hit a good vein of form, or it could be that the manager's tactics are now beginning to bear fruit. Yeah. So at home, I mean, us Man United being at home, I do feel that our home crowd should get us over the line in this one. But Bournemouth will be coming into the game with nothing to lose on Monday, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, their manager's new to the Premier League, and whether we can carry on from the form that we showed against Chelsea.
Just to read out this like their game against Crystal Palace. They had Neto in goal, Smith at right back, Zanavia at centre back with Sensini. It's Italian for centre back. They have. He's been a mainstay recently. Their left back is Kirkes. And in midfield, Lewis Cook from Leeds. He came from Leeds. I think it was Howe that brought him in with Christie. Semenyo on the right. He's a good young player. Justin Cliver has been playing in the number 10 role. Lestri, the ex-Leeds player on the left with Solanke up front. So there's a lot of talent there. A lot of young talent and a consistent side there that we should be wary of, especially with the talent they've got on the wide areas as well. So anything, let's just go for some comments there about Bournemouth. Eddie Howe's doing a great job at Bournemouth, says Box. Obviously, he's not there anymore, but he did establish them in the Premier League. Rebel saying, even gents, men like Spurs fans throwing shade at our manager. Look at the last 5 games. Time they kept United's name out of their fans' mouths. Bit of abuse there. We can use that one at 10 o'clock because Mr. B will be discussing that. Emma's saying here, thing with Rashford is that when he's at his best, he's almost unstoppable, but he needs to be way more consistent. Most certainly. Big G saying here, have you heard Shaw's been stirring the pot? Like to comment on social media, which ripped into Rashi and Martial. Oh, didn't know that one. BT saying here, over the last 10 games, we've won more than Liverpool, conceded less goals than Liverpool, and we're in third in overall in the form table, only behind Aston Villa and Aston Villa and Arsenal. Sorry, anyone seen City? Bournemouth in good form at the moment, says Anthony Herbert. Took the manager time to get the players playing at his standards as well. So there you go. That's the press conference, guys. We're playing Bournemouth this weekend. We're going to do a little solo 11 coming up now. If we could just bring this up. Solo 11, as you know, Solo picks a team every week, and for us to sort of mold over and see what he's saying. We started with a team here, as you can see, guys. We've got a Nana in goal, and we've got a back four of Reguilon, who's been coming off the bench recently. Luke Shaw, centre back with Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. Now, going back to the press conference, Mr. B, the manager said he started discussing with his coaches. The Premiership is a killing field. He has to play his best team. Is this the best defence you can pick after Dallow's performance, for example, or Lindelof is out, isn't he? So we've got Johnny Evans could come in as well.
I think the team that ended the second half should start the game. I think that's what Solo was going for there. Aaron Wan-Bissaka hasn't played and probably needs some form, and I just think that Dalot is going to play the Bayern Munich game anyway. Obviously, you don't want to think too far ahead, but I feel that maybe Wan-Bissaka can get the cover in there, and I wouldn't change anything else because I think that.
So Luke Shaw at centre back is a must for you.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's the closest that we've got to Martinez in our team in regards to his ability and his aggression, and the fact that he probably listens to Ten Hag's instructions a lot. I think maybe Reguilon will add the balance. I think we do need a left-sided, a left-footed left back playing just for the system. I'm not sure a right-footed one. You don't have the same flow. You don't just look up and play the ball. You've got to and then play it. So I think maybe 2 left-footers on that side makes sense. Maguire at the moment is a no-brainer, and obviously I just discussed one. Yeah, well, look, you know what? Well done.
So we've got Reguilon played really well, to be fair. That's from Big G when he came on against Chelsea. I think he does. He stretches teams because he actually gets forward. He's very good in the final third as well, and his delivery is good.
Aggressive.
And yeah, really surprised for a small little Spaniard like that. He's very aggressive. He does get in and doesn't really lose many duels. I'm really impressed with him. Maybe someone we could consider, because what's his name is out, Malacia is out. So we could consider, is he better than Malacia maybe? So that's the defence. And remember, we're having to sort of go strong because we have to really, this is a must-win game. Now, Amrabat with Scott McTominay and Bruno in midfield. This is something similar to what we started with the other day. How do you feel Amrabat played, Mr. B? And do you think he's worthy of keeping his place on the side?
I thought he had a good game on Monday. I know Bathtime didn't think his game was all that, but to be honest, I think Bathtime was the only person who didn't. If you look at the press releases from the day after, everybody was raving about him. I do believe it was the best game definitely the best game that he played for us. So yeah, I would be starting him again. I would be playing him again. Obviously, Scott's played himself into the it's just what it is.
Can't drop him.
Yeah, you can't drop him. And Bruno, he's not going to drop Bruno for love nor money. So I'm hoping that 3 will show the same intensity as the last game. What would you be changing?
Well, I wouldn't change. I would actually go with that. But there's two talking points here. Bilal said Mainu with Amrabat, so he would play Mainu with Amrabat. We've discussed this in the past, haven't we? About the two of them. I think it's going to be one or the other. And DK Wilson saying here, Amrabat looks like he's beginning to round into form, which is really pleasing because initially he was playing left back. He hasn't really been settled in the side. But give the guy the confidence now. A big game like that at Chelsea, another big game against Bournemouth at home this weekend. Maybe he can start sort of settle into the side and do what we expected him to do when we first came to the club. So I'm quite happy with that, with Kobe Mainoo maybe coming off the bench if required, you know. I think that will be our strongest with the considering what we've got available. Ericsson's out, Mason Mount's not fit. He's just coming back into it. So I think that's the best that we can do at the moment. And obviously you was talking about there was a question there from Bilal saying Mainu with Amrabat, because maybe he's thinking he's concerned about us being hit on transitions, which seems to be the case lately. I just think, like you were saying, Mr. B, I think if either Bruno or McTominay drops in when we haven't got the ball, makes us just gives us a little more cover rather than being too far ahead of the play a lot of the time. Then we'll be a bit more consistent with that. Big up to Zoe Media House, by the way. She's in the house. How you doing? And swap Bruno for McTominay and bring Mainu on for Bruno to play with Amrabat. So there you go. It's a bit of a mix up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the one that we're all calling for on Monday. We hoped before the last game that would have been something that he did. Maybe, as I said, maybe we're just not going to see it. Maybe Amrabat is cover for Mainu is cover for Amrabat. It's going to be interesting what happens if Casemiro comes back and isn't sold. Where would Casemiro be playing?
Right.
In that three? Does that drop off? Does that drop off Mainu a little bit more in regards to how much games he would be starting, or would he be starting him in a different position?
Good point. It's interesting to see. So I agree to drop Bruno. Zoe Media House is not a big fan of Bruno's, and that's what Big G's saying here as well. He would drop him as well. Bruno would definitely play though, says Bilal, a bit of a voice of reason there. And going up front, obviously Garnacho off the left, no surprise there. On the right, Anthony, that would be a talking point. And up front, with his hands on his hips and not scoring goals in the Premier League, it's our very own £70 million Danish striker. Who someone said is a bit like a Danish pastry the other day, a bit flaky. Someone in the comments said that. That's our front three. We're not scoring enough from our front three at the moment. So would you go with that starting lineup, especially the forwards?
Yes. They had the one thing that was noticeable about the game is that they ran. Yeah. I know it's obvious, but they ran. They did the happy side of the running, and they did the side that everybody doesn't like, the running back, the tracking back. They did these. So I just don't think you can change it. Ten Hag probably will. He probably will, and I would be very, very well.
If you're going to change anything from this front three, what are the options?
You're only looking at Marcus coming in, really.
Yeah,
because he's definitely not going to play Martial. So you're looking at Marcus coming in for one of the three. Because I said he came on in Højlund's position in the week.
That's right.
And he came on when the game was, not saying the game was done, but he wasn't coming on there to win us the game. The game was already won. He came out there to do a job in the forward line pressing wise. So I don't think he gets. I don't see it on Monday. I would be very, very, very surprised and very disappointed, to be honest, if any of those front three is changed for Marcus Rashford.
Big up to Lucky Singh. He said he would pass Amrabat and Luke Shaw. Emma saying here Bruno is allowed to rest though. So if we got someone else who can do it, why not? There isn't anyone else really at the moment. So how do you expect Bournemouth to play? Are we going to be playing against a low block? And if so, how do we sort of probe against them and break them down?
I think so. I think if they can, especially how we played in the last game, I'm more interested not so much in play, but what they do playing the ball out, because we killed Chelsea. Is it something that they're going to take the chance and do? Or are they going to go, or are they going to be clearing the lines and getting it to at least the halfway line? Because we don't win headers. We don't win first and second headers. I say that we don't. We don't
But
contest
you were
it.
impressed with the passing, weren't you, the other day, Mr. B? You were saying that there's a lot of more short passing in midfield rather than sort of hitting direct balls. We were sort of bringing the ball out as a team.
Yeah, and that's more what I want to see. I still worry about us in getting caught on the break. Just positionally, we were caught, and Chelsea had maybe a couple of overloads, and they actually chose the wrong pass in play, so it could have gone to something else. So I think they're more likely to sit in and try and catch us on the break. If we if we overcommit, when we overcommit, because he's going to be going there with six doing that forward work there.
I just want to challenge you, Mr. B, with a couple of these. He said, Big G saying here, I hope Erik ten Hag changes tactics slightly and uses Højlund differently, allowing him to run channels instead of holding up the ball. We've got this one from Big T. Did you notice Bruno played periods of the last game on the left while McTominay was bossing the attacking midfield role? I think even Bruno knows. Zoe's saying here, swap Bruno for Donny. It's what Donny was signed for. I don't like Man United as Bruno's team. If Bruno gets a yellow, he misses the Liverpool game, which is something we might have to consider as well. I like aggressive headers. Regulon pass to Bruno, like Luke Shaw, says Lucky Singh as well. And he's laughing at the fact that Donny was suggested coming in as well. But if there's a risk of him getting injured, I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting game. 3 o'clock kickoff, I imagine. So we have to really go for it. I'm really pleased we're at home, by the way, and this could top off a great week for us. So who's the danger man at Bournemouth, says Matthew Bassett. We did discuss that. We were thinking maybe Solanke, but Harry Maguire's got big pockets. And also they've got a lot of Clivert. They've got the guy from Leeds. Decent wide men.
You think it's going to be? You think it'll be wide? Amanda, you think it's going to be wide where they're going to try?
I think most teams now want to try and hit some transitions. Like you said, Chelsea had 2 or 3. They'll be looking at that maybe and thinking, right, we can hit them like that. Let's just be conservative and try and hit them on the break. I imagine that's what they're going to try and do. So when you got wide men like Clivert and Celestri, whatever his name is, the Sinestro or whatever his name is. Is and the other wide guy as well. Maybe when they're breaking and countering, because they're technically good and got a lot of drive, they might be okay. They had a guy called Anthony who's playing for them. He played for them last season. I haven't seen much from him this year, but he was quite impressive. Guys, score prediction. We're playing Bournemouth. We've built it all up for you perfectly. We've done the solo 11. We talked about the press conference. We've got momentum. How do you feel about playing Bournemouth this week? Have we got enough to sort of do some damage? Can we get the confidence based on the Chelsea game and the chances we created, breaking them down, getting turnovers and high up the pitch, and getting lots of opportunities? We had 29, almost 30 shots on goal. Is that enough to get the win against Bournemouth? Let us know your score prediction, guys, in the comments. I'm coming to you, Mr. B. We've set this up nicely. You must be able to give us a positive result. Come on.
3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm not sure we will keep a clean sheet, but if we can, all I want on Monday, if it's 1-0, it's 1-0. But let us press and look to take the ball off them like we did against Chelsea. That's what I want to see in the game. I want to see a continuation of what we did. Then we say, if we play like that, Bournemouth have got no chance. If we play and keep the ball how we kept the ball with those short passes, especially in the second half, I don't think they've got a chance. It's going to be, as I said, it's going to be interesting to what they do from their goal kick to try and beat the press. But I am expecting us to score. At least a couple. And the fact that the games normally go an extra 10 minutes and I'm going to throw an extra goal on at the end. So, I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay, Big T's saving his prediction for tonight, 10 p.m. Don't forget, guys, we've got a takeaway with Mr. B. So if you want to know Big T's prediction, hang around for that. Make sure you tune into that. That's a 2-1 win to Man United, obviously. DK Wilson saying we convert this time around and get a 3-0 win. That'd be lovely. This one from Emma, wow, 5-0. I wish she said. I wish so too, Emma. That'd be fantastic. Now, Rebel is in the house. He's saying 2-0 to the good guys. Hopefully that's Man United talking about. Box is saying I can smell a big 7-0 win. Is it possible? It's possible. Nothing's impossible, guys. We're going to smash them 4-0, says Hi Joe. My gosh, 69-0.
See, you said nothing's impossible. I think that might be, to be fair, one day.
Oh god! And then we got crossing the ball more, says Lucky Singh, and we can finish our dinner 2-0 win. We got 4-1 result here. Maguire hat trick, says Big G, and we deserve more. Better, says we will get a high scoring win. 3-0 in our case is high scoring to set up an set up the optimism for Bayern Munich and Liverpool next week. A whole embrace, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? If we did get a brace or a hat trick. Question mark from Box.
Wow.
Can he get a hat trick? It's Bournemouth. I forgot they were in the Premier League. 5-0, says Zoe. House. And no Monday, I'm talking about little green men on Mars. Okay. Rebel. Big up Rebel, by the way. So the score, I'm going to go with a nice 2-0 win. I think we deserve to have a clean sheet. Yeah.
Not one?
No, I'm going with 2 because it's Bournemouth and we're at home. And I'm a bit encouraged by what I saw during the game against Chelsea. I thought we really showed a lot of steps forward from what we want to see. You know, Andy hat trick, says Bilal, and my real prediction really 2-0. So just like me, Lucky Singh is going with 2-0, and 69-0 again, says Hydro.
Giggity.
All right, guys. Don't forget tonight. It's 10 p.m. Make sure all you Man United agendaites tune in because it's Friday night takeaway, and I'm going to be tuning in. I want to know what's going to be said about the Villa game with Arsenal. I want to hear Big G's prediction as well, and I want to just get a roundup for this. The weekend. Mr. B, do you agree with the manager that the Premier League is a killer league? We've seen really odd results. Everton beating Newcastle, for example. We've seen Villa getting a draw with Bournemouth. Crystal Palace losing away at Bournemouth. You can't really predict. And I don't know why you do predictions because we never get them right. But it's really hard to predict a lot of results. I mean, even with Villa beating Man City the other day, what a league this is. Do you think it's the best we've ever seen it? Most competitive?
This season, the early doors, it's been a great watch. The fact that everybody's been on United's back and we're only, a few points off major players in the league, and by all accounts, we've had a terrible season. I don't really hear people saying that other teams have had terrible seasons, bar Chelsea. Everybody else seems to be getting a pass on that. But yeah, it's been exciting. A couple more losses for teams above us. And then that Christmas period where people's throats always get cut, especially the teams with the smaller squads. I'm expecting January to be that. January we could be in a really decent position. Yeah, no, just a really decent position in January. That's all I'd say. I mean, at the moment, I'm not too. Position wise, I'm not unhappy. Points off the top is more what I'm more unhappy about. I just think that gap is quite big at the moment. Obviously, it's not something I'm saying that we're going to be closing on, but I think that's the gap that we need to close. And week by week, that we obviously, we got manager of the month. That month was important for us. We didn't lose, we didn't concede, and we just caught up on, slowly caught up on the teams above us. 1 point here, 2 points here, but by the end of it, I'm sure we had clawed back 6 on Tottenham. So, progression on Monday. I just want to see some progression.
Guys, if you want to catch some joke, Matthew Bassett's asking here, is Chelsea fan on the takeaway tonight?
Yes,
yes,
he is.
Make sure you all gather around and give him some stick, because they're really going through it right now. Who'd want to be a Chelsea fan right now? They're really mid-table. It's horrible for them. So check it out. 10 o'clock, guys. You've got that 45 minutes to get yourselves together and tune in. It's going to be a wonderful show, I'm sure. Big up Regigi, just coming in the comments as well. A bit too late, but everyone for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the watch-along and the post-match show as well. If that's going down, we would let you know. Put your little
I'm doing the watch-along. I am one. 100%. Yeah, I know. What else am I going to do tomorrow? Saturday? I ain't got my game, so I might as well talk about ours, you know what I mean?
Okay, we've got 45 minutes as half time. It's taking 45 minutes to cover this preview show. I think everyone's really confident and spirits are up. It's festive season. There's been enough games to come. So starting with tomorrow, Bournemouth, let's get the points and move on to that magic week next week, which could make or break our season, most certainly. So, Mr. B, thank you so much. Go and get some rest, and we'll see you at 10 o'clock. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone.